The Boy Who Loved Math, The Improbable Life of Paul Erdos. Today's lesson will begin by you reading the book to your students. Be sure to read slowly and clearly and stop and show pictures as you read. Answer any questions your students might have as you go along. The Boy Who Loved Math is about our main character, Paul Erdos' life. Paul is a young boy living in Hungary, and he, from a very young age, has an extreme fascination with mathematics and numbers. The book follows through young Paul's life as he takes on the regular world through a mathematician's eye. Before you begin each lesson, refer back to the book so the students understand why you are completing this lesson. Visual arts, numbers of animals. Objectives. I can elaborate on imaginative ideas when creating my artwork. I can create personally satisfying artwork. Today, the kids will be using a variety of materials to make art pieces involving math. Each student will be assigned a number, and that is how many items and animals need to be in their picture. For example, if I am assigned the number 7, then my picture needs to have 7 items. Animals can repeat, but no more than 2 of the same animal. Implications for struggling learners. For students who are struggling, allow them to use stencils. You may also allow them to work with smaller numbers. Keep the numbers between 1 to 5. Students who are struggling may also be allowed to work with one partner. Implications for advanced learners. Challenge learners by giving them larger numbers to work with. Keep their numbers between 10 and 15. You can also challenge learners by having them incorporate 2 numbers into their artwork, such as having 10 animals and 5 items in the background. Lastly, challenge learners by having them cut out their animals rather than drawing them. Art standards. Process, creating. Anchor standard. Generate and conceptualize artistic ideas and work. Elaborate on imaginative idea. Process, creating. Anchor standard. Generate and conceptualize artistic ideas and work. Create personally satisfying artwork using a variety of artistic processes and materials. Movement, loco ball. Objectives. I can perform a sequence of locomotor skills. I can work cooperatively with others. To begin this activity, break kids up into 4 teams of 10. Each team of 10 will be associated with a color. The teams will be assigned a corner of the gym. Each team has 10 balls that represent their color that will be scattered around the center of the gym floor. Before beginning this activity, emphasize to the students that this is not a race. Each team has different equations than the others, therefore cannot be compared to one another. To begin the game, a player will draw a card from the stack. The player will decide on the answer to the math problem that is on the card. Once the problem is solved, the team will collectively perform the locomotor movement that is on the back of the card. The player that drew the card will then run to the center of the gym to retrieve the ball with the number of the solved math equation on it. After returning the ball to the team bucket, the next team member will draw a card and repeat the process. This activity continues until all balls are in the team's bucket. If a player brings the wrong ball back, the team must redo the equation. Once all balls are collected, the team will sit down and wait for the others to be finished. Implications for struggling learners. If a student is struggling with math, allow them to choose from an easier set of math equations. If a student is still struggling, allow them to ask for help from a teammate. If a student is struggling with a locomotor movement, allow them to opt out and choose an easier movement. For example, if crab walks are too hard, they can choose to skip instead. Implications for advanced learners. To challenge learners, have them pick from a set of harder math problems. Another way to challenge learners is to have them answer 2 math problems at a time instead of 1. Lastly, to challenge learners, offer them more complex locomotor movements. For example, hopping on one foot while rubbing your head. Movement standards. Standard 1. The physically literate individual demonstrates competency in a variety of motor skills and movement patterns. Performs a sequence of locomotor skills, transitioning from one skill to another smoothly and without hesitation. The physically literate individual exhibits responsible personal and social behavior that respects self and others, works cooperatively with others. Music, wishy-washy-wee. Objective. I can demonstrate appropriate behavior when performing the song. I can perform music with expression and accuracy. Begin lesson by pulling lyrics on the smartboard. Have students follow along as you sing through them. Ask students to listen to you as you sing the song and pay close attention to any numbers in the song. Sing the song. Sing the song again, this time asking them to join you on the wishy-washy-wee section. Ask how many sailors were in the song. Ask for 2 volunteers to start an adding game. Teach the 2 volunteers the following movements. During the first section of the song, they should join hands and walk in a circle with each other. On the wishy-washy-wee section, partners will stop moving and push and pull their hands back and forth. Ask 2 volunteers to each choose a new partner from the rest of the class who is still seated. Have everyone help as they count how many sailors are now in the middle. Sing the song. This time there are 4 sailors. Continue choosing new partners each time until everyone has entered the singing game. Ask children to return to seats. Review how we added people to the singing game. 2 plus 2 equals 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8, 8 plus 8 equals 16, etc. Implications for struggling learners. If a student is struggling, offer assistance when it comes to answering the math problems. Struggling students can stay with the same partner in the entire game if switching becomes too confusing. Allow struggling students to opt out of the movements associated with the song and focus solely on the singing if multitasking is too complicated. Implications for advanced learners. To challenge learners, ask them more complex math problems. For example, how many sailors will we have 3 times from now? To challenge learners, have them sing at a faster tempo and switch at a faster speed. To challenge students, have them keep the beat for the classroom. Music standards. Artistic process. Present. Anchor Standard 1. Musicians judge performance based on criteria that vary across time, place, and cultures. The context and how a work is presented influence the audience's response. Anchor Standard Description. Demonstrate performance decorum and audience etiquette appropriate for the context and venue. Artistic process. Present. Anchor Standard 1. Musicians judge performance based on criteria that vary across time, place, and cultures. The context and how a work is presented influence the audience's response. Anchor Standard Description. Perform music with expression and technical accuracy.